Creed.
And this is Slightly Mediocre, where we, crap, I forget what the...
We do something and let y'all down.
Yeah. We keep the bar low so your expectations aren't high.
There we go.
It's taken all season to remember what it was.
So today we're going to be talking about some films that fall into the genre where kind of like, I guess, they're horror, but they're mainly like blood and gore. A lot of like, stuff like that. Also talking about the video games that associate with some of them,
Yeah.
And stuff like that. To kick us off, I'm going to be talking about Saw, the Saw movies. I've seen the movies. I've played the video games. The games are kind of cool because they're kind of like puzzle games, basically, because you got to do this thing to, like to get the, movie is like, you got Jigsaw giving these people like, putting them through like a maze or putting them through like a test. And they gotta, solve it within like a certain time frame, or else, they're gonna be killed in some way. And the video games are similar to the films in that you're one of the characters, and you gotta, perform certain tasks, save certain people, do certain things, and you just progress through different levels while avoiding, people that are chasing you. They're fun games. I played them when I was younger, and I've seen the films, and I enjoy. I had a good time, playing them and watching the films. How about you, Wade?
So I was looking up another movie that kind of falls into the category, but I can't remember what it's called. The Saw movies I love because it kind of goes back and forth. Like one movie will be super gory and super gross and everything like that. Then the next movie will be more in depth of the storyline, and then the next movie it'll be more gore and blood and everything like that, and then the next movie it'll
back
go
and forth.
And it's an amazing storyline. It's great. It's honestly really fantastically put together. And the most recent one, Jigsaw, has to be my favorite because it kind of closes up everything, and it's honestly an amazing movie. And if you watch the movies in order, originally I kind of had a hard time following like where they were in the timeline because it does jump around a little bit.
Gotcha.
But then realizing they've pretty much been in this hospital and trying to keep this dude alive for like 3 movies. That it definitely kind of comes together. But I'm all about the puzzles. I'm all about the suspense.
Okay.
The blood and gore is definitely an upside because I find it interesting.
Yeah.
And it's
just a disclaimer: if you got little ones, these films may not be for them.
Yeah.
I'll probably wait till they're of age to watch them. Most of these films, I guess, are rated PG-13 or R. So I wouldn't recommend them for younger audiences. But if you're like a teenager, or if you're in college, or whatever, and you kind of like that kind of genre, these are probably for you. Like we enjoy these games. Like another I guess films and games are like the Silent Hill movies, and I played the video games. They're fun. The movies, like, because they're a little bit older, some of the special effects are kind of campy and they're almost funny, honestly.
Yeah, like you look at them now and it's not nearly as scary as it was when it first came out. And originally the movies were they were considered some of the scariest movies ever made at the time because they were kind of freaky. And even today when it's like your first time watching it, you're just like, whoa, damn, like that is a little freaky. But now you watch them and you're just like, whatever. Not to mention, it seems like everyone's trying to like up the ante, considering that our nation's youth has been really desensitized to everything.
Oh yeah.
Between video games and everything like that, it's like it doesn't really
bother people.
Yeah, like it takes a lot to shock and awe now. Where when Saw came out way back when, it didn't really take a lot to shock and awe. I like my little brothers. They probably saw worse things than Saw long before I showed them Saw.
Yeah. Like same with the video games too. Like compared to some of the games coming out now, some of the new horror games, some of the new games that have been released. Like the old school Saw games are just like, they're not even scary. They're like more like puzzle games to me nowadays.
And then you got games like Wolfenstein, like nowadays, where like yes, it came out a few years ago, but it's like, well, damn, had I been playing this when I was 10,
or like the Outlast games, yeah. Those games are interesting. The Outlast games, you got like Evil Within and stuff like that. All those great games are just woof.
Yeah.
Like they make these old school games like seem very toned down.
Yeah.
Some of the other like what other I guess movies come to mind for you for this genre?
So to further, before we go any further in this video, this genre that we're talking about is commonly referred to as torture porn. It has nothing to do with like sexual things or porn or anything like that. It's just that's what people call it.
It's kind of like food porn, like when people like watch people making like recipes and stuff.
Yeah, no, like I follow a page on Twitter called like car porn or like house porn or something like that, and it's just like these beautiful houses and
just compilations of stuff that make people like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But you had the Saw movies, which kind of started this whole genre. No one had really seen anything that gory before. While also maintaining a decent storyline.
Yeah.
So then you have movies like, Hostel, the entire Hostel series, which, in the plain and sweet of it, it's, usually it's a different group of college kids every movie. They travel, to like, I think one of them they traveled to like Czechoslovakia, the other one they traveled to like some other Eastern European country, and then this other one they traveled to Europe, like Poland or something like that. There's usually some sort of paranormal aspect to it where there's been like this curse based in this town and blah 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 blah, and then they end up getting kidnapped and ultimately dismembered. The one scene that really sticks in my mind is from the first one where, this dude is tied down, he's tied down in a chair just like this, he's sitting in there, he has his arms up there, and then he gets up to move and this blade that's like rigged to the chair tears through his Achilles tendon.
Oof.
And then he's like not able to get up and he just like kind of crawls, but then he ends up like dying anyway. So it is definitely like I said, not for little kids at all.
No, yeah. Or like if you're like even if you got like a weak stomach.
If you're a little queasy, definitely
like
not something you probably want to see.
Yeah,
like
if you get perturbed by a sight of blood, probably not for you.
Yeah, like now granted, some of these movies have super fake looking blood.
But some don't.
Yeah, and then some of them are a little disturbing from the storylines. There is definitely a lot of sexual misconduct, and which can definitely make people feel uncomfortable. Which there's nothing wrong with feeling uncomfortable with that. If anything, you should feel uncomfortable with that, and that's really what the directors are trying to get across. I know a lot of movies, they're kind of, I don't want to say they're cavalier with it, but some movies definitely put it in there because it is meant to be a scary film. And with a lot of people, they're not going to get scared by the sight of blood or anything like that. They're going to get scared by the real world aspect of like, oh, this could happen to me, and that kind of gives the film a more relatable feel. Like you have the movie called The Hills Have Eyes. Basically, it's about this family. They're going on a road trip. They stop at a gas station, and this gas station dude, he actually has this daughter that is with this group of minors that basically they're a bunch of inbred and creepy looking and everything like that. And he basically sends people that fill up at his gas station when they ask to get back to the interstate. He'll send them the entire opposite way, and they'll break down or get their tire shot out or something like that, and then basically
was that The Hills of Eyes?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And they'll basically converge on the stranded family, and they'll pick them off one by one, and then if they have women, obviously they'll do that. Unfortunately, in this case, the family that got stranded. They had a baby with them, so the baby gets taken as well, and it is definitely disturbing.
Yeah.
But it's still a good movie. But it's definitely meant to scare in more so the real world aspect of what happens and showing that like there's monsters everywhere type of thing. And and that's a good message to get across is there are monsters everywhere, but that doesn't mean don't take a risk and eventually be the victor, but definitely kind of watch yourself. And then you also have movies like As Above, Down Below. You have The Descent 1 and 2.
You got films like by Rob Zombie, like House of a Thousand Corpses or The Devil's Rejects. Which are you got I guess there's people find them scary, but me like I just like the way Rob Zombie directs his films. The way he uses actors, actresses, and also his music choice. Like that one scene where they're playing, what was it again? Freebird, which is a really cool scene because they're like the bad guys are like supposed to be like heading off into their eventual end or like their death, and they're playing Freebird, and it's kind of sad, but because you feel actually kind of bad for the villains, but at the same time you realize, well, these are the people that have done all these terrible things in the past 2 films that they deserve to be, but that just goes to show how well it's written, how the director planned things out, that you actually have some kind of like sympathy for them.
And you also have movies like I said, The Descent, where it's basically about this group of women. They're having like a girls' weekend, but instead of going to the spa, they decide to go caving. And one of the women, she says they're going to one cave that's been explored before. They know the route, everything like that. She ends up driving them to a different one, and it's like, surprise, this one hasn't been discovered before. Everyone that goes down here doesn't leave, because that sounds fun.
That's a good idea, right?
So they do that, and then it's a bunch of the found footage type of scenario with that, because obviously the director wanted to make it seem like they were actually in the cave, and it's basically these like gargoyle looking things kind of like going after them and eating them, and it was very very interesting to watch. Like I wasn't really disturbed by it or anything like that because it wasn't all that scary. It was like a lot of jump scares, but it was definitely a different take on it. And then
it was found footage.
Some of it was. Some of it, like, it was obviously filmed, like, it was meant to look like it was filmed through a camcorder. And then some of it just what, like, it was, actual sets.
Film, yeah.
And then, you have other movies.
Chernobyl Diaries, you ever rewatch those films?
Yeah. And, that one was, like, I liked it. Yeah. It brought a different aspect to it, but in reality, it was your normal kind of low budget horror movie. Yeah. Yes, they brought in a new aspect of Chernobyl into it, but that was pretty much it. I watched that recently, actually, and then you have other movies, that kind of fall into this, and were kind of the precursors to all of this, and those are going to be like your normal horror movies, Jeepers Creepers. Which got a lot of media flack because, the director is not necessarily a nice person. He had some trouble also with sexual misconduct, which, we don't condone at all.
No, we don't.
But, he was able to he was able to make some movies, and, they seem to get really good reviews. I've only seen the first one where it had, like, Justin Long in it.
Okay.
And, it was, it got you to the level of fear that you needed to be. And then you also have movies like,
Hellraiser,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Silence of the Lambs, which really wasn't super gory.
Silence of the Lambs is a great film.
Yeah, it wasn't gory. And fun fact about Silence of the Lambs, Anthony Hopkins, who plays Hannibal Lecter, doesn't blink in the entire movie.
Nope. And that noise he made, he did that because he knew it. What was the female's name again? The actress.
I don't remember.
He knew it bothered her. The female lead, to act in real life. He would do that off screen, and he knew it would bother her. So like,
and it got like an actual emotional reaction from her.
So that one scene where like he's in the jail cell and he does it like right out surprisingly, and she reacts like that. She was not expecting that, and that was actual genuine fear, which is really hard to capture in films like that, because most of the time, they're like, take one, take two, so they're already kind of used to it, but Anthony Hopkins, being such a great actor, he just pops it out like that, which is
in all reality, you see Anthony Hopkins in a role like Silence of the Lambs as Hannibal Lecter. You also see him in the movie Hannibal.
Oh yeah.
And then more recently you see him in the most recent Transformers movie, and it's a total shift.
Or even Marvel as Odin.
Yeah, and you see him in these movies, and you see him in the like Marvel movies and the Transformers movies, and even some of his other films where he's won Academy Awards and Oscars and everything like that. And he's definitely more personable, and he's not creepy and anything like that. But you put him into a role of Hannibal Lecter, and he'll just sit there and go and just not blink in the entire movie, and it's the creepiest thing in the world. And he pulls it off incredibly well. Which is definitely something you don't see. But those are kind of like the precursors to this category of torture porn. And there's definitely more to come because like we've said, kind of everyone's kind of be desensitized, and it takes a lot to shock and awe. And what seems to shock and awe the best is blood, gore, guts, everything like that. And that seems to work.
Yeah, so let us know what y'all think about this genre, if it's for you, if it's not for you, what films you'd like, and also let us know what other films you would like us to talk about, review next. So that's just us right now. This is our opinion, by the way, so once again, this is just our take on this genre. And to reiterate from before, when we say torture porn, it's not actual pornography, it's just,
Yeah, to each their own with what they do with it.
Yeah,
because I know there's some people out there.
Yeah, there's some weirdos.
But it is the most widely used phrase for this kind of filming.
Yeah. So let us know, and once again, this is slightly mediocre. Something.
I said it earlier, but I forget.
Review it if you want to see the whole thing again.
Yeah, just watch it again.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for watching.